My name is Mike Gonzalez. I am the Angeles T. Arredondo Senior Fellow at the Heritage Foundation. The views I express are my own, should not be construed as representing any official position of the Heritage Foundation. As you said, I lived in Asia as a journalist for a decade, spending my last 2 years in Hong Kong as editor of the Wall Street Journal's Asian editorial page, from where I directed coverage of Asian issues, including the People's Republic of China and the Chinese Communist Party. I'm also proudly on the advisory board of Parents Defending Education, whose July study, Little Red Classrooms, has led to this hearing. The classrooms in question refer to the Confucius classrooms, which are the K-12 school equivalents of Confucius Institutes. The institutes are PRC-sponsored centers set up at universities around the world. They teach Mandarin and Chinese culture, but also fund China research. In the words of a comprehensive heritage study released in March, the institutes and the classrooms give CCP agents a foothold in the U.S. In exchange for money, the schools self-censor about the reality of the PRC and the CCP and allow the spread of PRC propaganda. In 2015, I authored one of the earliest papers on the institutes. One of my recommendations was for the Congress to explore, quote, whether the PRC's efforts to influence Americans through academia and Hollywood represent an attempt by a foreign government to manipulate a democratic population, unquote. 8 years later, this question remains at the heart of the issues facing this committee. Last week, I spoke to Ian Oxnevad, a researcher at the National Association of Scholars, who is currently writing a study on all these issues, and he told me there are a lot more Confucius classrooms than institutes. Once again, the classrooms are K-12, the institutes are in colleges and universities. A 2019 Senate report said there were 519 Confucius classrooms operating in the U.S. Oxnevad estimates that there are still around 500 classrooms in our country. Just because they're not called Confucius classrooms does not mean they're not, he told me. They are basically a turnkey program for Mandarin that is all expenses paid. Paid by whom, you may ask? By the CCP. Most of the institutes and classrooms were supposed to have been closed. In March 2021, the U.S. Senate voted to prohibit funding for universities that hosted the institutes unless the contracts had clear provisions that protected academic freedom. The absence of transparency has been a big part of this problem. Of 111 institutes that have closed or are in the process of closing, at least 28 have been replaced with similar programs, and at least 58 have maintained close relationships with their former Confucius Institute partner. This duplicity reinforces my view that our government must ban all the institutes and classrooms. We must end all collaborations between U.S. institutions and Chinese entities affiliated with China's Ministry of State Security or other security and intelligence agencies. A foreign communist party cannot dictate what our children learn. The United States is an open society that enjoys the free exchange of ideas, whose people form opinions and then vote accordingly. China is none of those things. It is a communist dictatorship where the CCP retains the monopoly on power. Our two nations face, therefore, asymmetric informational warfare. China's influence on our schools is aimed at presenting to students a version of the PRC that does not accord with reality. China seeks to be seen as a normal country, say democratic Chile or Portugal. But China is an important country with many contributions to civilization, but China is not a normal country. All of China's 1.4 billion people have their liberties extremely restricted. China's most famous political prisoner is a publisher by the name of Jimmy Lai, who today, at the age of 75, languishes in solitary confinement in a Hong Kong prison on a trumped-up violation of China's draconian national security law. On the 26th of this month, Mr. Lai will mark 1,000 days in prison. Now, I know Jimmy Lai. Jimmy Lai is a friend of mine. I can tell the members of the Congress and the American people that Mr. Lai is a tireless fighter for liberty, one we must never forget. Xi Jinping put him in prison for speaking truth to power. The Confucius Institutes and the classrooms concealed this sordid record by restricting debate on Taiwan, Tibet, Tiananmen Square, the suffering of Jimmy Lai, and many, many other things. You, our political leaders, have the responsibility of stopping this gross interference on how the youngest among us learn about what is likely to be our main adversary for the 21st century. Thank you very much for your time and attention.